You're not getting any younger, so
live like you're not.
Hey you! Yes, you! Welcome to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast, a podcast for people who want to disrupt their lives for a good reason, to make it count. I'm your host, Jen Glantz, and every week I'll drop a new episode with stories from real people just like you, who woke up one morning and decided to make big changes, starting with small things. We'll cover topics like entrepreneurship, love, failure, and self-care. Hey, you're not getting any younger, so let's make this an adventure. Ready? Today's podcast is brought to you by Thinkific. Thinkific is the #1 platform to create, market, and sell your own online courses or membership sites. They have revolutionized how individuals earn and learn online by building an all-in-one platform designed for both course creators and their audience. Try Thinkific for free today at try.thinkific.com/JenGlantz. That's try.thinkific.com/JenGlantz. You are going to love it. Hey, any youngers, it's me, your host, Jen Glantz, back with another episode of the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. I am so excited for you to hear this week's guest. I feel like it was a major win to have this person on the podcast, and I want to explain how I got this person on the podcast, because sometimes as a podcast host, just the art of meeting guests and booking them on your show is so random and sometimes serendipitous and just so completely cool. So I want to explain that to you. I also want to just let you know a little bit more of a brief backstory of why this was so interesting for me. So I'll start with that first. At the end of last year, I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw a casting director post something that they were looking for hosts for QVC. And on a whim, I thought, you know what, let me just submit an application. Let me try out. I love watching QVC. I love the energy of the hosts. I think their personalities are so fun. I literally want to buy every product when I watch the show. And I personally just love being on screen. I love it. I feel like my personality comes alive a lot more when there's a camera in my face. So I decided to submit an application. It was a written application with your resume, all your TV hosting experience, which I actually do sort of have. And then from there, I had to submit a tape where I pretended to sell a couple of different items around the house. And I made it to the next round, which was a live interview over Zoom. And then I never heard back. I never heard anything back. And I know these things take time, and I'm definitely going to follow up this week, but I sort of just crossed it off my list, figuring that it just probably wasn't going to happen, and maybe that's okay. You know, it would probably be a full-time job. You also have to move to a random city in Pennsylvania, and the salary I heard isn't so great. But I figured if I kept moving through the interview process, I would probably consider it, because it's totally a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And plus, I think it'd be really good. If I like something, I naturally will sell it to you because I genuinely like it and want you to want it and like it too. I got these bracelets, these workout weighted bracelets that you can wear to do arm exercises and leg exercises. They're 2 pounds. And I really like them so much that I just keep posting about them on Instagram because I genuinely really love them and want more people to experience my love for them. So I figured I could be really good for this job if I got it. But I never heard back. Then I find myself a couple months later at my husband's parents' house, and one of their friends was over. And she brought this friend of hers over, and we're talking, and she's telling me about her son, how he's a producer and all these things and has a podcast. And then I tell her about me and my background, and she's like, oh my God, my son produces this show of a woman who's a QVC host, and she does all these other things, and you would be such a great guest. Let me connect you. I thought that was very nice, but I didn't think anything of it. I never thought maybe anything would come from it or he would care. A couple days later, we email, we get on the phone, and he's like, yes, you have to come on the show. And at the time, I had no idea who this person was. I knew she was a QVC host, but that was the extent of it. I didn't really know much else. But more and more and more, I got myself deep into the world of Kim Gravel, and she is a phenomenal powerhouse of a human being. And I feel so lucky, so incredibly lucky to have her today on this podcast. If you've never heard of Kim Gravel before, let me give you some background. Kim Gravel started off in the pageant world at a very young age. She had a show on Lifetime called Kim of Queens, which is all about pageant life. This was, I think, in like 2014. She's now a host on QVC and has her own line of clothing via QVC, which is so cool. And she's the host of LOL with Kim. Her personality is so stand out. And in today's episode, I had a list of questions I wanted to ask her about. I didn't ask her any of those questions. It turned into a therapy session. It turned into Kim coaching me on the power of purpose and confidence and how not to get bogged down by the things you see on social media. And this episode just became way better and way more than I as a host could have asked for or planned for. So I'm so thrilled for you to give it a listen and to hear the beautiful words that Kim has to say. Now, before I started talking to Kim, I wondered if I should tell her about my QVC audition, because I'm not looking for her help to get on the show or anything like that, but I wanted to see maybe if she thought I would be good on QVC. So toward the end of the interview, I did decide to tell Kim about how I tried out for QVC, and I asked for her honest opinion, if I would be a good host or not. And what she said was truly something that blew me away, and maybe something you never thought she would say. So that's at the end of the episode. Excited for you to dive in and meet the fabulous Kim Gravel. Can't wait for you to listen to this one. And by the way, do me a favor, before this episode starts, as you're scrolling through your phone, if you can leave us a review on Spotify or Apple, those things make this show bigger and better than ever. And I always appreciate that. And of course, my friend, I appreciate you. All my love, Jen Glantz. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Kim.
Oh, Jen, I wouldn't miss it. You are such a bright light.
Oh my God.
For me, you remind me a lot of myself when I was your age.
That is the greatest compliment, and you are going to hear why in just a couple of minutes. But I want you to introduce yourself by answering this question. If you and I were going to meet at a party, how would you say who you are and what you do?
I am Kim Gravel. I'm a type A mom, wife, entrepreneur who is faith-filled and a lover of people.
I absolutely love the order of that, because I feel like, again, you're somebody who does so many things, and probably describing yourself is overwhelming. Like when you meet someone on an airplane, is it overwhelming to be like, hey, here's what I do? What do you say to them?
You know what? I never talk about myself. I have learned that in business and in life that, my daddy always used to tell me, if you make it about other people, it'll always be about you. Yes. So, so many people, we have it, like I call it bass backwards. Everybody's self-promote, but really it's about what you give and what you contribute and how you add value that makes you successful. Yeah. So I learned that, relatively young. I think in my early 20s, I learned, I'm self-absorbed. It's really not about me. It's about what I can add to the mix of this thing called life,
Were you always somebody who was very confident, or did you have to learn that at a young age? Like, when did you get this persona of just owning who you are and bringing your best self forward?
Oh, it's a work in progress. It still is, but I'm not confident in me. I'm confident in the ability I have been blessed with, my purpose. So I believe that everyone comes into this place called living in earth to add something to the mix. So when you, in what we're living in is a culture of, I want what you got. We're living in a culture like, I want to do what you do. We're living in a culture, I want that many followers. But if people would stay in their lane and just own and sit where their giftings are and where their added value is needed, the success would be shaken down, pressed together, and running over. There'd be so much success, they wouldn't be able to know what to do with. So I always say, seek the purpose and the prosperity will follow.
It's a complicated question because how do you know what your lane is? How do you know what your purpose is? I mean, there's a lot of people out there who are confused, who spend more than half of their life trying to figure out what they're actually meant for. Are there secrets? Are there ways to sort of figure out who you really are meant to be without comparing yourself to everybody else?
Yeah, there's a thread, and that's the key, not comparing to everyone else. If you can get quiet and get still and really, and I'm not talking about this, masterful, meditation. I'm not talking about all that, which all that's great. I'm not judging that. But what I'm saying is if you can just get still and quiet and honest with yourself. I say this all the time to people. They're like, Kim, you're so confident. Of course I'm 50. So I've been doing this a hot minute, but I always like to say to people, I'm kind of like a mirror. So when you come up with me or you're in a relationship with me or you're in business with me or you're a friend with me, I'm not going to try to reflect what I am on you. I'm just going to hold the mirror up so you can see the real you, because there's greatness in every single person. And a lot of times we use excuses like I'm too old, I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm too loud, I'm too quiet, I'm an introvert. We use all of our best qualities a lot of times as our negatives. When actually, if you would just hold the mirror up and look at the real you, all of those things that live inside of you that maybe you don't like or it's not like everybody else are your assets.
Yeah. I'm sitting here scared to tell you the truth that this week for me, I have felt all those negative things. I have felt like I lack purpose. I lack personality. I have felt like I have strayed so far away. I know.
No way.
But the thing is, like, I have literally felt all of the negative feels. I have looked on social media and compared myself to everyone. And I'm sure you have those days too. How do you pull yourself out from those really bad places that sometimes your mind goes to?
You get busy. My nephew just recently has been going through a hard time. He's 24 and he's trying to find himself. And, that's a journey that in your 20s and even early 30s, everyone goes through. And I'm saying, Kim, you're so ageist. I'm not. I'm just keeping it real. I mean, that's just growth. That's maturity. And there's a lot of 50-year-olds that don't know their butts from the hole in the ground. So I'm not saying as you get older, you become more aha. But there is some method to the madness of failing and getting back up and failing and getting back up. And I told my nephew this. He was like, why are you being so hard on me? Because he needs a little tough love right now. And I'm like, because you're better than this.
Yeah.
I would say to someone who's getting down, like Jen, and we all go through those moments, can you please go find people that see the best in you? And I'm not talking about people who just blow sunshine up your butthole. Okay. I'm talking about people who really see you for who and what you are. So many people, the only problem is they just don't feel seen. They don't feel validated. But I'm here to tell you on this podcast with you, Jen, everybody listening, you have a God-given, amazing purpose that no one else has. No one else has the DNA of your purpose like you do. So stop studying what everybody else is doing and start looking within and saying, what can I contribute? Not what can I get? Okay. Not what somebody can give me or show me, or what can I give? Because the more you give, I pour from a cup that's overflowing. People say, are you half glass, half full, or half empty? I said, baby, I'm half full, and I got 2 or 3 pitchers of gallon pitchers behind me. It's just I can just fill up at any time. That is, you got to change your perspective. I hope that answered your question.
It does. It does. And I'm wondering for you, like, has your purpose changed over time, or do you think at your core, your purpose is the same no matter what you're doing?
It's never changed. I've changed.
Yeah.
I've got distracted. I've got taken the wrong, road. But my purpose has always been to edify, to build up people, businesses, my community, my children, my husband. I'm a builder.
Yeah.
And that's what edification does. It builds people up in their faith, in their whatever. So, it took me 2 or 3 years to kind of like nail that one word. It's not encouragement. It's not inspiration. Nothing wrong with that. It is edification. It is the building up of people. anything, businesses. I love to build homes. I love to renovate homes. I love to, I've always been a builder.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people aren't like that, but they have their own purpose that makes them
Absolutely.
who they are. I'm listening to you and I'm like, I know, even though I try to hide it and I try to pretend it's not, I know what my purpose is, but there's some days where you're like, I have no idea.
What is yours, Jen?
Oh, I think it's to make people feel less alone in their lives. I've always felt this way.
You're a companion. You're a companion.
I am a companion. I'm somebody who wants to say, here's the mess of my life. Like whatever you're going through, you're not alone. I've always felt that. But then there are days when I forget that. And there are days when you go on social media and you think, well, maybe my purpose should be something else. Okay. And then you do that and it doesn't feel good. It does not feel good.
Can I make a little observation here?
Yeah.
I just had a little light bulb moment hearing you talk. So if you are a companion, or if you are a person whose purpose is to help people not feel alone, wouldn't it make sense that your attack and the enemy or your attack would be to make you feel like you are alone?
Oh, I think yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like for me, I'm a builder and I'm attacked so much because I start feeling like I can't build anything. Yeah. It's because this is my thing. It's so rick-rack. I'm doing social media. This is so rick-rack. It's so small town, homegrown. I'm not building anything.
Yeah.
You see, that's that attack on your mind, and the enemy comes after those things. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm gonna get Jen where she's most powerful.
You're so right. I feel like this is therapy with Kim.
No, but I'm serious though. I had an aha moment when you said it.
Well, it's
like,
so
I feel
true.
so alone. I feel like I know it's hard.
But then I think people look at people, you're someone in the spotlight. People look at you and think, oh, Kim doesn't have bad days. Kim doesn't have negative thoughts. So I think it's good. It's good to have this honest conversation of like, sometimes we know our purpose, but then sometimes we have those voices that are trying to attack that purpose and get us all confused again.
Well, bad days, you can have bad days. In fact, if you don't have bad days, I'd question if you're challenging yourself enough. But the bad days don't have you. There's the difference. Yeah. You can have the bad days, but the bad days don't control and have you. You go to bed, you wake up, you got a whole nother new start. And I'm not trying to be cheesy self-help here, but that's just truth. That's hashtag truth. Yeah. That so many times we let what someone says or what someone said, there's a time to fight. There's a time to be, confrontational. But if it doesn't matter 5 to 10 years from now, what you're in the mix being depressed and upset about, that's a waste of your time.
You are so right. I mean, Isn't
it the truth?
It is the truth. I mean, if you wrote down a list of the things that you're stressed out about or you're upset about, it's pennies. Like it's so trivial, but in the moment, it's everything. Like, does that person really like me, or am I good enough for this? But it doesn't really even matter. One of the things I love about you is your personality. It feels like really who you are. And I know there's people listening who are scared to be themselves, or scared to speak out, or scared to master their personality, be a little silly, go for a joke. What would you say to them when they're trying to be more them, own their personality just a little bit more at work or in their personal life?
So I believe this is one of my life rules that I live by. Authenticity is always successful. When you start to fake it, even a little bit, people can smell it. Yeah. They can see it. They don't know it. They don't know what they're seeing or smell. Authenticity. Now, let me just tell you, I'm not saying go out and shout from the rooftops your business. I'm not talking about like going, well, this is who I am. I don't mean the neck roll and this is who I am and get over it. If you don't like it, haters. I'm not, that's surface bullcrap. I'm talking about that authentic thing to be like, no, I don't, I'm going to break up with you, or no, you're not good for me. It's that authentic. It's that mirror being held up, because so many people don't even know how to live authentically anymore. We fake so much. I say this all the time. I'm fake on the outside. I'm all for Botox, plastic surgery, fillers, all that. I'm real, 100% real on the inside. Yeah. But we flip-flop those things. We're going, I'm real. I'm not going to use the filter. I'm going to work. And then on the inside, you're fake as crap. Flip it. Preserve this and be true to this.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm pointing to my head and my heart.
No, but there's sometimes when I go to post on social media and I go, even yesterday I posted something, I was like, this is not even you. This is so inauthentic, and it's obvious. It's obvious, and even just how people react to it. And then and this is so stupid.
It's a culture. It's a culture.
It is. And it's so stupid being like, oh, social media, but it is an extension of our personality for so many things.
And business for us. Like it's a must have. Look, I'm all for social media. Social media. Look, I'm all for Facetune on social media. Okay. At my age, I got to make it work. Okay. And like I tell people all the time, I'm fake as crap on the outside. On the inside, I'm 100% real.
Yeah.
That's I make light of it and joke of it because we're worried about people are posting these pictures. I'm being real with no filter, and their messaging is not even true to who they really are.
No, you're right. It's
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's copy and pasted. It's not truly their voice. I agree. I think the best thing I think you said to me that really hit hard today was the sit in silence part, because oftentimes we don't do that. We don't do that, and if you do that, things become so clear. I have something I want to tell you that I think will be a little shocking, which is, ironically, last year, I tried out to be a QVC host.
Shut up. You would be amazing.
And I have been dying to tell you this. Now, I don't think it went very well, and I don't think I got it. And regardless, I don't even know if I would want it. But I always had this dream of doing it. I tried out. It was very interesting. I want to hear from you, because I know everyone listening knows my journey, has followed along with it. What do you think makes a good QVC host?
Authenticity. And never a loss for words. Can I just say, are you sure it just wasn't a timing issue? Because you would be absolutely perfect for. Did you go through a certain agency to go see them, or did you just randomly send in something on your own?
No,
I hate to veer off here, but
I did. I found like some casting thing, and then I did like an interview, and I thought the interview went good. The two things that didn't go good were they were like, oh, have you ever bought anything from QVC? And I did, but I had bought it because I found it online and not on the TV. And my husband was like, you just ruined this interview. And then I'm a very passionate person naturally and authentically. If I love this glass of water, oh my God.
Everybody will buy it.
And, yeah. But he heard the whole thing. He was like, I think it was a little too much. So I don't know. I mean, like, to me, it was just like a fun thing to do.
But Jen, that's what I'm talking about. It's so perfect for what we're talking, the authenticity of it. There is the best people on QVC, both with brands and with host, are just the people that's just who the heck they are.
Yeah.
They're not trying to be a host. My favorite line from a reality show, which I think you need, by the way, and we're going to make that happen, is from America's Next Top Model. And I think it was Miss J said this.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, you are trying to be a model. And then he looked another one. He said, and you are a model. And he wasn't saying one was prettier than the other or whatever. But and I'm going to quote Yoda, there is no try. There's only do.
Yeah.
So the most authentic, when you are your truest self and you say, Kim, and you're your truest self, watch this. Here's your little litmus test. You're being your truest self when after you say what you mean to say or post what you mean to post, you have this moment of like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. You have this vulnerability, exposure.
Yeah.
That's when okay, because I can't tell you how many times I've said something in a meeting, or I've said something I thought, God, why did I say that? Why did I say that? That is something, they're going to hate me after that. And I thought, and sometimes the meeting doesn't go well, but that's how it should have gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you fake it with people, you want to know right up front if these are your people or not that you need to be working with. So if you fake it, you're just prolonging the inevitable, because you eventually you can't keep up facades forever.
I'm so curious to hear your answer to this. This is how I like to end all the interviews. I'm going to ask you to fill in the blank, and I have a feeling it's going to be a real good answer. You're not getting any younger, so...
You're not getting any younger, so live like you're not.
Amen to that. It is that simple. It is that simple. It's everything you said is so powerful. And even though to some people it might sound like, oh, that's good advice, where do I start? you said it. Like, you said exactly what people can do if they're confused about who they are, if they're not feeling good about themselves, or they lack purpose. And that is just, your advice was brilliant. And we are so grateful that you came on the show today.
Well, Jen, you have a fan in me. I'm a big Jen fan. Big things are coming for you, girl. And any way that I can help be a part of another sister rising to the top, count me in.
Thank you. Hey, you. Thank you for listening to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. There are hundreds of thousands of pods out there, so thank you for listening to this one. You can find the show notes for this week's episode up on our website, anyyounger.com. Subscribe, rate, and review the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast on iTunes so that other ears around the world can listen too. Oh, and join our secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group, where over 1,000 people are talking about how to disrupt their lives, for good reason, to make it count. Until next week, all my love, Jen Glantz.